Hi, Kevin here. Welcome to the Claremont Classic Garage. You never know what we're going to be doing around here. Neither do we, for that matter. But today we got a little project. I've been to the auction again. And as usual, I bought something. And then I found out when I got home, I bought something that doesn't run. So we had a fast look at it and found out what the problem was. We did get it sort of to cough to life and put it through its paces a little bit until we decided that it was a good unit and we think we'd like to keep it. So we ordered some parts for it and today we're going to go through it. Alright, so the scope of the work we're going to do today, we're going to give it a nice oil change with my famous witch's brew of leftover dregs of synthetic oil, but it's all good stuff. It's just I don't know if there's a formula you do when you mix all different grades of oil, what it comes out to, but I really don't care. It's good stuff. I've used it many times and nothing's blown up yet. We're going to put a new muffler on it because the muffler that's on it is all messed up. It rattles. An almost new spark plug that I found in my drawer of lawnmower parts. It does need a new air filter. We're going to change that. And here's the problem why it wouldn't run when we first got it. They came up with the bright idea of putting plastic intake manifolds on these things, and it was broken in half. Outstanding. This one, by the weight of it, I kind of think it's pot metal or aluminum or something. We'll find out when we get it out. I found the blade on it was bent, so I bought a new blade. The mulch door was missing. I got a new mulch door for it. And the rear skirt that keeps the rocks from hitting you in the forehead was missing, so we'll change that. Lucky for me, I was able to find the model number on the machine, and it is, this one is an AYP machine. That's American Yard Products, so it was no problem to get parts for it. They make lawnmowers for Canadian Tire, Sears, everybody. Most of the lawnmowers you'll find are either made by AYP or MTD, regardless of what color they're painted or what they say on them. So let's get started. Okay, first order of business, we're going to pull a blade off it. This blade is junk. It was bent. It was all whacked up from hitting rocks and stuff. So we're just going to take it off and chuck it. Every machine you'll find the blade's held on a different way. This one, pretty simple. Just a 3/8 bolt up through the middle of it. So we got a 9/16 socket. There we go. Out she comes. So we'll toss this. You can see it's got a twist in one end of it. It's a mess. So, surprise, surprise, surprise. While I was underneath there, I took the blade off and I was looking up to see where the oil drain plug was, and I saw this. The deck is all cracked and there's actually a piece of it missing. So we'll have to weld a piece of metal into there. Not a big deal, except that when I went to take the other two bolts out, this back one here snapped. So I've got a busted bolt in the engine. I'm going to have to get that out. So that's another project. So what a battle that was to get that broken bolt out. I welded quite a few nuts onto it. Finally, this last one did the trick. We poured a lot of heat into here. So I got it. She's still pretty warm. So I'm going to let this cool off for a while. And then we got to touch up the face of this a little bit. Run a tap through the hole. Clean that up. Then we can sit the motor back on the chassis and do our repair to the chassis. So that's where we're at now. So you can see I've got my little patch in place. It's just basically just a fender washer. It bridges all the cracks and broken metal. So I'm just going to tack that in while the engine is sitting on it because I need it to be precisely placed. And then we'll take the engine back off and then weld it completely around. Okay, so you can see the start of the repair here. I've just tacked it. Now I can go around and make sure it gets welded on all the way around, and we'll fix the cracks that are spreading. And then it should be good for a long time to go. I was able to just weld the washer on top because if you can see around here, the motor actually sits on little pedestals that are embossed or stamped into the deck. So this just mimics that height. So the engine will still sit level. It shouldn't stress anything. We should be good to go. So let me start welding. Okay, so it's all welded up now and I ground down the welds. I'm just going to throw some primer in, the closest green paint that I can find over top of it, and it'll be good to go. Okay, the closest thing we had to green, well, was black. But anyway, good enough. It's just a lawnmower for mowing under spruce trees. So we're going to sit the engine back on it now and get that bolted down. And we can carry on. We'll pull the drain plug out and get the oil changed, put the new blade on it, and that'll be the underneath done. All right. The engine's bolted back down solid, and right now I got the drain plug out and it's sitting over top of the drain bucket draining. I'll tip it back up, we'll put the drain plug back in, put the blade back on, and then we can start working on the top side. The drain plug on this guy is a pipe thread, so we put a little pipe thread sealant on it before we put it back in. That'll do two things. Number one, it'll keep it from rattling loose, and number two, it'll seal it up so she doesn't leak. Another thing we're going to fix while we're working on this thing is it's got this plastic shroud on the top of it, held down by two screws, and there's captive nuts that are supposed to be swedged into the top, the fan case of the actual engine. Well, they've come loose, and now this thing rattles like this the whole time it's running. So we're gonna see what we can do about that. Now we're getting into the bones of it here. You can see down in there the epoxy where I repaired the intake manifold to get it running. So this here, see, the muffler is wobbly. All these things make this thing rattle. So we'll change the spark plug, air filter, muffler, put new oil in it. We're going to weld up those captive nuts for that top shroud, and it should be pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead now. First thing I'm going to do is change the intake manifold. So to do that, we have to take the two screws out that hold it to the cylinder head. And then we have to remove the gas tank, and the carburetor here comes off as one unit. There's two bolts. There's one here and one down the side there. And that will get the intake manifold free. And we can put our new one in. Yeah. Okay, so the ignition coil I had to move out of the way. Got the intake manifold out. The carburetor and fuel tank are just off to the side. So when we put it back together, we'll have to reset the ignition gap here, which is a pretty easy procedure. I'll show you how to do that. I got the old intake manifold out. You can see here, any port in a storm, we had to do what we had to do. This thing was broken clean in half. So I epoxied it up to get the machine running. But we bought a brand new one, so I'm going to install that one now. Okay, so the intake manifold is installed and tightened down. Got all the linkage back on. You can see there, that's the governor. Now we have to set the air gap on the ignition coil. So how you do that? Brass feeler gauge 8/1000ths of an inch, or 0.203 millimeter, whatever the heck that is. Anyway, you go down in there and you just adjust that so that you just feel a drag on your 8th thou. And then tighten it up. Not tight, just because we still have to move the other side. So then the other side, same deal. 8/1000ths and tighten it up. Now this one we can tighten. And then once you tighten it, make sure your fan blade still works. Good. Now we'll go back over here and double check. We've maintained our 8/1000ths there. So this thing will fire right up. Gonna change the spark plug now. Got my new one here, gap to 30/1000ths like it's supposed to be. So we'll swap that out. Doesn't look too bad. We'll change it anyway. Okay, there's that done. Now we're going to change the muffler. Okay, next we're going to change the muffler. Now this new one I got seems a little smaller than the one that's on here, but it says on the package it's for 3 to 5 horse engines, and this is a 4, so see? God, you're listening to that the whole time you're mowing the grass. Oh, brother. So we'll put this little guy in. If I don't like how it works, I'll see if I can find a bigger one like that. But and we'll just snug it up. There. Okay, so the next thing we're going to fix is inside the fan cover are these two little captive nuts in here that hold that plastic shroud down, and they're loose. And they, hear that? Another noise I have to listen to while I'm mowing grass. So what I'm going to do, they seem to be steel, so I'm going to try and braze them in and make them solid again. Now, of course, I do my best brazing with the cutting torch, like all great welders. Let's see here. So, oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is going to be good. Okay. Here we go. Come on, melt, you bastard. Okay, there's that one. Oh shit, it's on fire. Okay, it's out. Okay, got it. We'll let it cool off and see if they're still loose. Okay, next we're gonna service up the air cleaner. So this, I mean, it doesn't look that bad, but we're gonna change it out anyway. It's basically a piece of foam that gets soaked in oil, and the air percolates through that. The oil supposedly catches the dirt. Kind of like the oil bath air cleaner in an old car. So that fits in there. This goes in there like that. And then you just put oil on it. And it'll soak through and go all through the foam. You know, there we go. It'll soak down in and we'll get nice clean air into our engine, because that's what we want. We don't want it sucking in dirt. There, just like that. See? The air goes in through there. Perfect. Okay, we got our recoil cover all fixed up. We're going to put it back on now. Hopefully it'll go on easily. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So it's just held on with a couple of screws that I'm probably sitting on. Alright, now I'm going to reconnect the cable for the engine brake, like that, and I'll put the throttle cable back on. Then we can put the cowling back on top of it, and that'll be another part done. Alright, I got this thing back on now. Gonna tighten it up. This is that we brazed the captive nuts for. And hopefully now this thing will go on there and not rattle. Let's see. Because let me tell you, this thing, between this and the muffler and that other thing I fixed that was rattling, no wonder the intake manifold broke. Oh yeah, perfect. That's on there solid now. Awesome. So now we're going to hook the recoil back into its little holder here, like so. Make sure it still works. Oh, we haven't got this thing pulled. Hold it down with my elbow. Yeah, good. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put the oil in it, and we can get that closed up. Okay, now we're going to put the rear skirt on. It goes on these things. They've obviously been opened up and let the old one fall off. So we'll put the new one on and then just tap those closed with a hammer. And that'll be the rear skirt on. Okay, got our rear debris skirt on. Runs along quite nicely. I had to narrow it up a bit. It was kind of wide how it was supplied, and it seemed to interfere with the tires quite a bit when I backed the mower up, but it's all good now. I just shortened about 1/2 inch off each end, and it's good. Now what we have to fix, we got the chute here, and underneath here on this shaft should be the mulching door, which was not there. And judging by the piece of threaded rod that's in there, I think somebody before us has been at this thing. So we're going to fix that up. I got a new mulch door, so we'll take this apart and reinstall it properly. All right, so when I went to put this thing together, I realized that there was a screw up here in the clipping door. This should be spring loaded, and there's a couple of wrong parts and parts missing. And it's supposed to be a quick change kind of arrangement where you either have the chute or the mulch plug installed. It's no longer quick attach. I found I just used this long stove bolt and a locking nut. This lawnmower will be permanently in mulch mode anyway, so I probably didn't even have to put this on, but just because I won't ever lose it, I'll just leave it on. Anyway, I'm going to put some gas in it now, and we'll see if we can fire it up. So we've had great success. This thing, I just finished mowing about 1 acre of grass with it, run 2 tanks of fuel through it. It starts easy, it runs beautiful, it mows fantastic. Yeah, this one is a winner. So it can go into regular service now. So we're going to use this for actually cutting grass. And then the little orange one that we fixed up last week, that's going to get used just for mowing underneath these spruce trees. That's what it's going to be perfect for. So anyway, that's it for this episode of the Claremont Classic Garage. I hope you enjoyed it, learned a little bit something about fixing up lawnmowers. So I hope you'll go down below there and leave a comment, hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel, and you can see all kinds of stuff that we do around here. And anyway, until the next time, thanks so much for watching the Claremont Classic Garage. So long.